He was born and bred in the land of the long white cloud, but ventured over to the land down under, graduating from Avondale in 1992 with a Bachelor of Education, majoring in mathematics. He spent nearly 2 decades in education before switching professions, but not purpose. Owen Ellis is the citation recipient for the class of 1992. Owen, congratulations.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you.
Owen, we'll start with a basic one. Can you sort of tell me where you and your family are living now and what you're up to?
So at the moment, I'm living with my wife, Debbie, and our 5-year-old daughter in Bowral, New South Wales. And I've been here for a bit over 8 years now as pastor to Bowral and Goulburn churches. And this year is a year of transition where we're waiting to see where we will end up in the new year. So
now, back in 1998, you moved into Watson Hall to embark on your studies. But as we all know, Avondale is more than just a degree. So can you remember any of your good mates while you were at Avondale and what you guys actually got up to?
So as I started there, didn't really know anyone. The first roommate was John Dubikin. We got on really well. We were both science, math students. Second year, Michael West. And as the years went on, the friendship circles widened. And I think through there, had a great group of friends, including folk like Michael West, Joe Talamatonga. There was also Bennett Toitolu, then there was the girls Lydiana and Murray Rose and Esther Hanselman and others who just became part of a wider friendship circle who we really enjoyed hanging out with. When it comes to things we got up to, I guess one of the most memorable things was climbing the water tower, something that was not permitted and is now not possible. But remember making it up there one night with a group of friends, including Andrew Skeggs and Kathy Micklethwaite. So a few class members there too.
Excellent. I'm glad to see that you've dobbed some others in, dragging them under the bus with you.
Yeah, look, and good on Andrew. We had a lot of fun helping him get down the tower. So that was a good excursion. So
can you give me an idea of what your first year out teaching was like? You volunteered at Betty-Khama in the Solomon Islands at the Adventist High School there. How did your time in Betty-Khama impact you?
Look, I think I'd done 2 years of my training at that stage. Didn't have a lot of confidence. After spending a year in the classroom in Betty-Khama there, I came away knowing that teaching was something that I was to focus on, at least for the near future. And I really enjoyed it. And it was just a wonderful opportunity to spend time focusing on classroom teaching rather than just all the studies and other things. So that was a defining time, clarified the future for me.
Yeah, I often find that people who do that service overseas have that defining time, and it sort of narrows the focus of things. So when you finished high school, you weren't exactly sure what you wanted to do, but I understand when you're on holiday, you had a chat with, was it Dr. Owen Hughes and Adrian Allison? Is that right? Yes. Yep. Yes. So by the end of the day, you actually said that you'd made a decision to study at Avondale. I'm curious, what did they actually say to you to make that decision so quickly by the end of the day?
Look, I didn't know what I was going to do. I'd finished high school and had tried some possible options. Nothing had come up. I hadn't registered to study anywhere and had some possible ideas in my mind. And after having a talk with Bro Ellison, who was a counsellor for careers and that, I think when he heard that I'd done well in sciences, he kind of said to me, this would be really good for you. And I had no reason not to give it a try. And it was just the right timing. And yeah, college started about 3 or 4 weeks after I met them, and I was there for the beginning of it.
So then what would you say to anyone who's, in their senior year of high school who may not know what they want to do for their future? What would you say to them?
Choose something and let God lead, give it a go, give it your best shot, be open to change. I wasn't even sure if I was going to finish that degree when I started it. It wasn't until 2 years in that I knew that was it. And I've repeated that through my life. God seems to clarify things partway through the journey. But yeah, just get in and do something that you know will be worthwhile.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you were in education for nearly 20 years. Can you be bold enough to tell me what maybe some of your biggest frustrations were in the whole education system?
Teachers these days more and more encumbered with a lot of paperwork, a lot of reporting and recording, and it's important, but I found it was taking time away from the face-to-face interaction with the students that means the most. You know, the relationships, the influence, the time one-on-one, that's the best part of teaching.
Yeah, awesome. So I won't just focus on the negative. What were some of the great highlights then?
Yeah, look, probably the best memories are just the time spent with the students, even outside the classroom. When we started off back at Auckland Adventist High School, the teachers would drive kids after school to basketball games and those kind of things. And so we'd be driving across town, carloads of kids, and then watching their games, spending time after school. Those connections actually helped us in the classroom as well. And those are the best memories.
So you spent about 7 to 8 years, I believe, as the New Zealand Pacific Union Education Director. You sort of moved up that chain fairly quickly, but you then decided to leave education for ministry. What was the catalyst for you changing careers?
Well, as I point out, I was always in ministry. So it's ministry in a different context. I never anticipated spending as long in the education director's role as I did. I never anticipated going into that role. Again, it was God's timing. And after about 7 years, I thought, you know, I can't do this forever. I'm ready for a bit of a change. And I wanted to spend some time studying for my own personal and spiritual development, firstly, and I wanted to do it in a different context. So I chose Andrews just for something totally new. I was single and free to do that sort of thing. And again, it was only about halfway through my studies there that it became clear to me that the next step would not be back into the classroom, but it was to be into local church ministry.
Who have been some of your mentors in your career, you know, both in the education system and in pastoral ministry?
Well, if I think back to my school teaching times, as a first-year teacher, I still remember Lyndon Darko was a supporter and a great mentor, together with the school administrators, principals like Gavin Williams, Jack Ryan, and other team members, Adrian Whisker, Lydiana Giassesi, also Danny Carrasco, folk like that. Education director times, friends like Barry Hill and Ken Westlake were really supportive. John Hammond as well, who was like a colleague, great people. And then look, in ministry, many of my colleagues, blessed to have great leaders as well, have supported us and helped us to grow along the way. But also church members, you know, that's a new dimension, having great working relationships with church elders and members who support, encourage, mentor, and grow you.
You've said that your advice to someone else, or what you've done in your life, is sort of allow God to lead, you know, and partway through that journey, sort of really listen to him. I imagine that has led to, you know, maybe some surprises in your life that you didn't necessarily see coming.
Well, I think one of the surprises was after I decided I needed a break from teaching, and I'd signaled that partway through the year. I finished the school year, and on closing night, Ken Westlake said to me, "I need to see you," and spoke to him the next day, and that was when they spoke to me about the education director role. So that was a surprise. I think another surprise in my life was after ministering here for 2 years, having lots of well-meaning church members wanting to introduce me to different people because I was a single pastor, and God just surprisingly introduced me to Debbie at a time when I wasn't expecting it. So wonderful surprises.
Well, Owen, in all that you do, you serve others with dedication, humility, and thoughtfulness. So congratulations on being the citation recipient for the class of 1992.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.
There's more to Owen's story, so I encourage you to head to the Avondale Alumni Facebook page or to our website to read his citation. And if you'd like to send Owen a message or just give him a shout out, you can do so on this post, or you can send me an email at alumni@avondale.edu.au.